Alright, okay, so last session, all of you, well, to say you had a time has so many different meanings. Uh-oh. Hello? Uh-oh. 1 second. Did it just tell me no? Did it just... Can I just do that? What do you mean? Huh, 1 second. Nah, I'm not gonna fight with it today. Okay, whatever. You wanna be difficult. Bye-bye. Whatever. Okay, yeah. It was not a bad pun. It was a good pun. Anyways, more or less the day or station time started out relatively simple with a training exercise, or rather, to gauge the potential of certain recruits through a training exercise at, the current commanding officer's discretion, and a Starfleet Marine. They went and did a simple recon, which proved to be a little bit more than they had expected. Playing a little bit of cat and mouse, and also some impressive shots by what effectively is an asteroid gun, destroying this kit-bashed ship before Aleska was transported forcibly, and a Prometheus-class starship took off at high warp with them. A little bit of, time in between passed, and, AQ took their time to, inform you that they're going to give you an edge as to how to deal with this, and the Omega Continuum as well, somehow having a part in this. That being said, Captain Phillips, you were traveling at the high velocity of Warp 7 towards Horizon Station. The Akira class vessel, which you have been granted, is a little bit stronger than the typical Akira. It's been granted weaponry, shields, and a blade of hull that honestly could not evenly, but come very close to matching a Vesta class cruiser.
What is the name of the ship that is now in my possession? We can't use the Campbell. That's already been used.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at you. Nope. God, I have so many ship lists. Where is it? There we are. Following some themes of Greek aptitude here. This ship has been christened the USS Hera, which is sometimes fitting. The ship itself has been at Warp 7 for a few months now. The constant drone of the engines, the din of your now collected as well to assist with operating this ship. 415 other Starfleet officers and enlisted.
Yeah, so while that's going on, I'm just sitting in my ready room right now.
Mm-hmm. It's around this time that you do get a communique from the bridge that is notified. Captain Phillips, we're approaching communication range of Horizon Station without any sort of subspace lag.
So he would walk out from his ready room and he would walk to the bridge and say, "Hail Horizon Station."
Hailing Horizon.
This is Horizon Station. We're reading you USS Hera.
Hello, Neshek.
Captain, good to hear from you. I haven't heard about all this bullshit that's happened to everyone else, right?
No, but it has been a few days, and they are considered missing in action right now.
And the captain
Well,
doesn't
we've
know
already
about
sent
it either.
someone to get them.
Yeah, but this is a little bit.
That's true.
I'm not back yet.
You're not back yet. But it was going to take you a few days to get there. So this is just starting to become worrisome.
Yeah, and the captain doesn't know about it either. So, yeah, this should be fun.
Good to have you back, Captain. You'll be pleased to know that we've already got plenty of work lined up for you.
Well, one, it's good to be back. Two, what kind of work?
Well, and I'm just going to go off the list. Because Neshek has been the commanding officer for Alpha Ops for however fucking long.
A couple days.
At this stage, it's been a little over 48 hours.
2 days. Yeah.
That's true, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I will just inform the captain that Aleska, West, and Apricity are all off station on this mission. I probably won't say something has gone wrong, because quite frankly, from Neshek's perspective, this is a routine type of wrong compared to what we normally have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But the captain will at least know that the entire rest of the senior staff is not here right now.
How long have they been gone?
Well, the expected transit time was already a few days. I believe that Apricity should be arriving soon, so I anticipate hearing back from them not momentarily, but in the immediate future.
I mean, I am in the area. I could track them down.
You are not that close to
You're not
here. You're still a good probably a good 40, 50 light years away. So you're a ways.
Yeah, well, whenever I can get into the area, I can help with the search to look for them. Unless you need me on the station.
We know where they are, Captain. We just don't necessarily know what's happened to them. Apricity and a security squad has already been dispatched to ascertain the situation.
Well, I guess I'll just come to the station then.
You are the captain, sir. If you want to go find them, I can easily send you the coordinates.
I mean, you're the only senior staff available right now. I mean, no one has been bothering you, have they? No one's been asking for information or anything?
No more than usual, sir. Also, I could put you in live with Apricity, one of Apricity's surgical. What do you call them? Apricity subroutines? Because it's still you.
Yeah, it's still me. I have like servers in the hospital that I can connect to via a distance that Joe said was pretty impressive for a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You just got some lag.
It's
I just get lag. It's like I'm playing in Europe right now.
You have about access to a about 3/4 of a sector, so that's about 15 light years, roughly.
But the question is the Hero able to reach out to Apricity right now, or am I still a ways out?
Yes, the Hera can reach Apricity. However, it'll be the situation of going through the station to go to whichever ship. So it's kind of like bouncing a signal, and there will be like lag to responses.
All right, Neshek, send me the coordinates and try to connect me to Apricity so I can get an update from her too.
Understood, Captain.
I'll try to see if I can find her.
Them.
Unless they're on the ship. Then yeah.
Right.
Now, if it's a ship, I'm talking about her. That's a ship, not Apricity.
Oh.
Okay.
Understood, Captain. Please hold.
Uh-huh.
Enjoy the dulcet tones of smooth jazz while I connect you to Apricity.
Okay, well, that keeps happening.
I plug you in directly to TurboLift 37.
That works.
But yeah, Apricity, assuming you're in a position to receive transmissions, which I don't know what horrible, horrible things have happened to you on this mission, you'll be getting a call.
Well,
neither do I.
Let's get to that.
Apricity, dead on the counter, surrounded by blood.
Okay.
Blood?
It's not theirs.
Okay. If it's not theirs, that really, really puts into...
Doesn't narrow it down much as a doctor.
Yeah. Anyways, for you, Apricity, you've actually probably just gotten to the supply depot. The station itself, not very appeasing to look at, even less so since it is in at least 2 pieces. There are evidence of phaser scarring and immediate life sign scans will show faint life signs.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
shit.
Then I guess the immediate priority is survivors if it doesn't look like there's any life support left in the destroyed ship.
It is coming from the centermost portion of the largest half. Does seem to possess some oxygen. There's some steady power flow going through it.
Okay. Do they have enough? Can I tell? If possible, I want to establish communication with them before I just randomly beam them somewhere else.
Okay, yeah, you can. Yeah, the ship you're on, just a standard runabout with an impressive security force, honestly, of 8. There is a response.
Okay.
Oh, you're not gonna blow up like the last one, are you?
I am not. Could you tell me what happened to the last ship? Could you tell me what happened to you?
Well, I'm stuck here. The last ship, as my previous sentence said, I do believe it blew up.
Did you catch the name of this ship?
Oh yeah, I had time to totally interview them.
Did it look Starfleet?
You know, I detected it on scans, and the equipment in here kind of just puts up little radar pings, but you know what? That dot really looks Starfleet to me.
Thank you for your cooperation. Would you like some assistance in, all of this?
Well, someone has to get my patients out of here because I can't do it.
Are we able to get a lock on them?
Yeah, easy enough.
Alright. I would ask if there are any patients that need to be moved first for critical care, but after that, I'll just start beaming people out with the security team, keeping an eye on things to make sure nobody gets stabbed
Mm-hmm.
or shot.
Things.
And while that's happening, Apricity would attempt to get a sit rep from this, I guess, other doctor.
So if you'll recall, the EMH3 has not been deactivated.
Am I talking to the EMH?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this other doctor.
Well, we had a rescue force or scout or I don't really know. I'm a doctor. But they were going to attempt to well, alleviate my irritation, and that didn't happen. And they kind of just vanished after this station broke in half.
Okay. Okay.
Like how you responded, and that didn't answer one or the other of Paco's questions.
It answered both of them.
Yeah.
I think, I think Apricity would actually send a memo here to Phillips. No, not Phillips. Neshek, because Neshek is the commanding officer.
Mm-hmm.
Basically with their current information on the situation. And how Aleska and the rest of the away team has, from the EMH's perspective, vanished / blown up. Do they have any more information? Do you have any more information on how exactly they vanished? They didn't warp away, they blew up? It's fine if you weren't able to see anything yourself. I guess Apricity would say sense anything yourself.
The station did detect at least one warp signature post all this situation, so.
And were there ever 2 ships on the scene? Or did a ship warp in after the presumed Starfleet vessel vanished?
Was in the med bay. Don't really know.
Okay,
Going off of tertiary after scans.
thank you. What can I do for this EMH so they're not just like, can I take them, can we take them with us?
You can.
We're
if
not
you
gonna, like,
want.
Do they, I don't want to just leave them on a derelict ship.
You can if you want.
I'll ask them what they want me to do if they want me to do anything. Since I can't exactly beam them off the ship like I could the patients.
No, but you could access their, like, isolinear programming. You know, that's a question that I really don't get asked.
That's
I'm
unfortunate.
not sure.
Well, I'll be hanging around here for a bit while I contact my superiors and the like, so you have a while to make up your mind.
Oh, this is different.
And I guess I'll do that. I'll go check on the patients and then attempt to contact Neshek if I don't conveniently get a phone call in between then and now.
Well, we'll get to that, but, currently, for you, Aleska, the difference is, in this vessel, as far as the brig goes, it's small, it's cramped, it's uncomfortable, and the fact that it is clearly taking fire from something doesn't help. These ships are old, they're a little bit more rugged, and can take some of the abuse, but the fact that shields aren't a concept yet.
Here's an above board question. Did Q Jr. give me a tricorder at least?
They did, but it is fitting to the century.
Ah. And I assume there's a guard in the brig area.
Yeah. They don't look like they're having the greatest time either.
Who are we fighting? I ask.
There is an impact. God kind of straightens their posture afterwards and doesn't respond to you.
I will surreptitiously pull out my tricorder and see if I can't learn anything that way.
Okay. Just through proximity, small particulates of disruptor arrays are somewhere on the exterior of the hull here. Given the time frame, it's really one of two species this far out that you could think of with this particular ship that it could be. But this seems relatively and unnecessarily aggressive, so it's easy enough to narrow out.
Klingon.
Mm-hmm. For, the whole vessel begins to shake a little bit, like, almost as if it's gonna rip itself apart before it just stops.
I do another scan. Any chronoton radiation?
a little bit.
That's not good. Is it coming from outside of the ship, or is it coming from inside of the ship? Unless I have to roll for that.
Why don't you roll Reason Science difficulty 1? I am considering the reduction of the tricorder, so that's why it's difficulty 1.
I have a reason of 9 and a science of 3, so that makes it a 12. And we have no momentum. So, no successes.
Okay. It's really hard to narrow out being given a tricorder is helpful. This is an old model of a tricorder, and therefore not as reliable.
And Aleska mutters under her breath, "Why do these things..." And she just trails off.
After a while, the guard leaves, and the captain of the ship reappears, entering into the brig.
Ah, Captain Hernandez.
Oh, you know my name, too. Alright, speak fast. How'd they find us?
I am not sure, but some Klingons can be very persistent when they want to be.
How'd you know that was Klingon?
And I hold up my tricorder. Klingon disruptor fire is very unique, Captain.
How'd you get that?
Apparently your security officers aren't very good at checking people. About board, is this after Trip is on board the Columbia? Or is he still on board the ship?
This would be... Let me do math in my head really quick. This would be post. There would have been an incident a couple years ago that would have marked his passing.
Ah. Because I was going to say, if Trip was on the ship, there would be a little bit of difficulty there. But, be that as it may, as you can probably tell, Captain, I'm not from around here.
Oh, I can gauge that. The fact that you're on my ship is a good start.
But, and Aleska will have her hand go out to pass the bars. If you do a blood test, Captain, I think you'll find something very interesting. That my information is on file.
I'll have the doctor come in then. There's a brief bit of time as she does call the doctor. The doctor is later aged human male, Definitely has scars and injuries that you can only surmise were probably from the Earth-Romulan conflict when that was going about, and it's still fresh in everyone's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Stick your hand out.
Yep. And let him draw a blood sample.
Be back with this in a couple hours, Captain. See that you do.
Question. Do I have my knives on me?
Those you conveniently do not.
And she mutters under her breath, Q. And she will wait in a cross-legged position for the blood test.
Alright. They do come back with the blood test, and there's a little bit of talk outside in the main corridor away from the brig. Can't overhear it, but something's grabbed their attention. Or, Captain Hernandez does walk back in. Alright, you have my attention.
Because believe it or not, Captain, you and I have met before. It has been many years now, but you have met. A certain history professor at the academy.
You?
Yes. Technically, I am supposed to still be at the academy teaching. At least in this time frame.
Yes. This is what Jonathan told me to avoid.
Yes, Jonathan. Well, sometimes the universe decides that all wishes can go for fishes.
Lieutenant, you can release the prisoner.
And does he?
Yeah.
And I step out of the cell. And I'm sure the doctor's blood test confirmed what I am. Human with a little bit extra.
She doesn't say anything to that. She just... Well then, you're clearly here for a reason, so...
Is there a place where we can speak privately, Captain?
In the times of war, I would have appreciated the forms of privacy and such, but you can understand how, in a post-war society, why the term speak in private is not something I'm fond of hearing.
No, but there are some things I need to tell you that other members of your crew ought not to hear.
You're a history professor. You don't have authority here. You can follow me to the bridge, or you can see your way out the airlock. I don't care which.
Being out of the airlock in space would not be comfortable, but then I would have the time. And I would follow her to the bridge.
Mm-hmm. After the whole event on the bridge for you, Lance Corporal West, reading over this particular name, with a few icons and switches, clearly a secondary computer that's been labeled Beowulf, but you're not really sure what it is, and that's when Aleska walks onto the bridge with the captain, and the captain motions you, clearly not realizing, or perhaps perceptually unaware, that you are not meant to be here.
I will follow regardless.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Now we can go to the ready room. This ready room is a nightmare. It is honestly about as small as a shuttlecraft, and
Aleska will look around. I had forgotten how cramped these old ready rooms were.
You can cut out the familiarity. Now then. What the hell are you doing here?
Captain, how much has Archer told you?
Enough, and I can assume by your quip of time that there is a form of manipulation of time at work here.
Yes, that would be a fair assessment, and not entirely of my choice. But, be that as it may, I was told there was something on board your ship that would be helpful in my time.
What is your time?
2409, Captain. Believe me, if I had a choice, I would not be here. I hate time travel. But the person who sent me here is not one you argue with very successfully.
I'm not really sure what you could gain from from your perspective, a 22nd century ship.
I am still trying to puzzle that out myself. Have you taken on board anything in the last few months or weeks that would be, I guess, unique or anything?
We haven't taken on anything. We've been... Well, to use the olden terms, we've been out at sea for well over a year now. We've certainly acquired some things that stay in the vault, but nothing of huge note. Just one of our engineers did come up with the concept of a think tank computer.
Would I be familiar with that?
You're familiar with the concept of something like that. There have been a number of incidents in Starfleet's history as to why that just shouldn't be a thing. This one in particular, definitely more on the rudimentary stages. It's a simple AI system. It's closed in. It doesn't have access to any of our actual systems, but it does allow us to come up with potential battle scenarios and apt responses.
Does it have a project name?
Yeah, it's called Beowulf.
And Aleska facepalms. Beowulf was one of the ships in my time that was causing us problems. It seems to have gotten more advanced in my time.
So in theory, if we just destroy it, your problem's over.
I doubt it will be that easy. What we might be able to do is put in either have it reprogram itself at some point or install a kill switch.
I suppose we could install a kill switch, but we'd have to introduce it into an already intelligent AI, so introducing a new program, we'd have to do it quickly and without it noticing.
And she will go, what is its learning capabilities at the moment in terms of human development?
I mean, as far as intelligence go, it's up there with some of Earth's most innovative minds right now.
So any normal means of inserting surreptitious programming would probably be ineffective.
Correct.
It is possible that by my time, it had been forcibly recoded to do the things that it's doing now. But I'm still uncertain on that score. May I see where this AI is being kept, Captain?
Yeah. It's on E-Deck. The captain looks at Lance Corporal West for a second, double taking just ever so slightly. I don't believe I've noticed you aboard.
You were the one that summoned me, Captain.
It's hard to keep track of faces these days. Kind of just shakes it. And just shakes it off. It's kind of that look of, I think I might have seen you, but also I don't recognize you, so I'm not really sure if you being here is an actual thing. But Aleska's kind of just tanking the weird right now, so man, that has a whole different context in another game. Anyways, yeah, led to EDEC, the computer core is got its own secondary computer core, a little smaller, maybe the size of, like, comparable to like a sofa couch. Just it's got a whole bunch of complicated wiring and chips in there.
And Aleska did try to make a little bit of small talk with the captain, just to try and make it less awkward. And she would be like, when you were in my class, Captain, I had a feeling that you would get command of one of these ships.
I appreciate that your talking is an attempt to make things less awkward, but you realize your subject matter makes things awkward.
That is true. And she goes to the console and, as if she knows what she's doing, will try to access the computer programming of the AI.
Easy enough to do.
Do I notice anything in the coding that someone would be trying to reprogram it from its original purposes?
There is something in there that you don't seem to recognize. Its technology is advanced. So it's an alien device of some kind, but you've never seen anything like it, and just by the complexity of it, it looks like it's not from this time.
And Aleska is frowning. Well, I think I found our culprit. And she'll point it out to Captain Hernandez.
What the hell is that?
Would I need to make a science reason roll to figure out what this is?
Yes, you would. That's going to be a difficulty of 3.
Alright, and no momentum for any die, so... Well, I got 1 success. And a 19. You didn't spend any threats, so...
Nope. That comes
Would any of my values apply here?
What are your values?
Time brings perspective to all things. Not everything is as it seems. Goodness is in all species. And my life has been more interesting than people know.
Time brings all things into perspective actually is a good one.
So that would be 2 automatic successes.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 3.
Yep. Okay. So, you don't have a good indicator of what this is entirely, but you've learned to recognize advancements, leaps and bounds, or people who are going to advance a world state or a galactic state through technology, through flight, through whatever. But you also remember a pretty specific phrase that the Earth of old liked to use a lot, of the whole, this is the future.
Mm-hmm.
This item is that, quite literally. Given its origin, you determine it is not from this time period, and it's not from yours, your current time period.
Well, I can tell you 2 things about this, Captain. It's not from your time period, and it's not from mine.
Wonderful, that narrows it down.
Well, actually, it does, because we can rule out the time frame between your time and mine. So it's from either from near future or a very distant future. Is there any way to separate this from the AI?
It kind of looks like it's just pressed into it. You might be able just to pull it off.
Captain, could I bother you for an engineering kit? I'm gonna see if I can remove this thing.
Okay, yeah. Lieutenant, they bring over an engineering kit, and unlike the 25th century, these things are small.
But Aleska is using it in a manner in which she looks like an engineer using something that's familiar.
Okay. Pulling it off is actually incredibly easy. It seems like whatever placed it there was betting more on the hesitance of removing it for something that's unknown and possibly damaging, but comes right off.
And I assume the engineering kit comes with something that can isolate something from the rest of the environment.
Yes.
She will place that chip inside the tube, and then go back to the console, and she'll hand the chip to West, and then she'll go to the console to see if any of the code has changed upon removing that chip.
None of the code has changed. And as you're messing with the console, and as West is overlooking and Captain Hernandez is kind of spectating, as you fiddle with the console, you kind of double take for a second before you fiddle with it again, and then look around, and you are not fiddling with the same console.
In what manner of speaking?
It's like your locations have shifted.
I look sharply at West and Captain Hernandez. Did you feel that?
Yeah. Where the hell are we?
Has our surroundings on the ship changed?
Drastically so.
Has it looked like we crashed or something?
No. As a matter of fact, this looks like... You've almost... changed into a... It's like you jumped ahead about... probably 45 to 70 years ahead, and consoles here are a little bit newer, and there's a lot of dulcet tones and such.
I will try to access the console and see what the status of the ship is.
Well, one, accessing the console does not bring up, USS
Oh yeah,
Columbia.
because it's...
Does not bring up USS Columbia.
And both eyebrows shoot up at that point. Captain, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
You're gonna be bad news, I can just feel it.
But it appears we're not on Columbia anymore. And I will show her what the console is telling me.
Archimedes? Never...
Look at the date, Captain.
$22... $34...
And you see Aleska thinking very hard. And she goes, if in this point of time I'm in a civilian at the moment, but why would removing that ship cause a time shift?
Well, I can probably help with that.
And I will roll my eyes, turn around, and go, Q Junior?
Oh, really? The junior? Fine. No, this was not me. That was not intentional, and I will return you to the Columbia as you have somehow skipped across the proverbial water of time. The Columbia was intentional, this was not. I didn't do this.
And I will show Q the little device we found. It happened when I removed this from Beowulf.
Ah, okay. 20... $28.91. Okay. Well, that is a different design. Oh, they're getting real bold. Must be close to the end.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Q, but wouldn't that be almost near Agent Daniel's time period?
Well, I'm gonna take distinctive pleasure in enforcing some of the rules here, and this is one of them for someone like yourself that I will only get to say so often. You'll see when you get there.
Aleska puts her face in both palms and just groans.
I see that the other continuum has a stake in this. I will deliver you back to Columbia post-haste.
Well, at least there's one positive outlook on this queue. You're being far more helpful than a Metron or an Organian would be.
Well, your inheritor problem is directly related to our continuum problem. But that's enough spoiling the captain of things to come. And I do believe you had a console to work on. And just snapped your back working on the console in Colombia.
And does Captain Hernandez remember that conversation?
Yeah.
And that is...
What's she gonna do? She can't talk about it.
Yep, except to maybe Captain Archer. But she'll turn back from the console briefly to Captain. And that's who we've been having to deal with, Captain.
I've done this maybe twice now, and I can definitively say I don't like time travel.
Time travel gives even us headaches. And she shakes, and Aleska shakes her head and turns back to the console.
Alright. There's a message over the internet. Captain, Hernandez here. We have a ship coming out of warp. I don't recognize the signature. How fast? You're not gonna believe me, Captain. Answer the question, Ensign. Warp 9? Point... hard to say. 8 or 9?
And I exchange a glance with West.
Warp 9?
Ships of our time can frequently travel that fast, Captain.
Lieutenant, ready the phase cannons, arm the photon torpedoes, and just for good measure, polarize the hull.
I think it's time we went back to the bridge, Captain.
Yeah. In the present day, we shall call it, Captain Phillips, Apricity, and Neshek are all actually in the conference room of Horizon Station, and are now apprised of the whole situation.
I assume this is the day I got back.
Yeah, this is the day you got back. So by this point, Aleska and Lance Corporal West have been missing for at least a week now.
I assume
we
you
know
haven't had
anything?
any updates from the Neshek.
I mean, if I haven't heard anything, if I've been unsuccessful in the normal attempts of communicating with them or
Yep.
detecting other signs of their presence, the only other thing I think it would be if any of the evacuees have aroused and told us anything more.
No, not really. They're not in a great condition.
I mean, with both Aleska and West missing, not responding to anything.
Yeah. I assume. Alright. Question. I vaguely. Sorry. I vaguely remember something about being able to trace warp signatures.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to roll back and say that Apricity would have at least tried that for the ship that apparently warped away before they left the derelict ship?
Yes, that can be... searching for the trail, I think that's... We'll call that Insight Engineering Difficulty 2, because it's been a while.
Engineering difficulty 2. I don't believe I have anything that would apply here. That is a 5 and a 10, both of which are successes.
Okay. You can't figure out the name of the ship, obviously, or anything like that, but you can determine there are only a few ships that can leave a warp signature like this, because it's very quick, and that really falls down to being either an Intrepid class or a Prometheus class ship.
You literally put them in the nebula so they couldn't be tracked. There was no way I could have tracked them. Yeah, I guess after updating the captain and ship verbally, in addition to the memos.
Okay. Anything you
I'll admit I'm not entirely certain what we can do here. The trail kind of just cuts off completely. I wasn't even able to spot another warp signature departing, so it's not like there was no debris around.
What about the other emergency medical hologram? Anything from their data records? You said it had mentioned previous ships in the area.
The sensors on the ship were nearly completely destroyed by the time the incident that led to... what was the name of the ship that Aleska departed on?
didn't have a name, really.
Okay.
I mean, I was even just referring to what can the EMH tell us, like, because it was active at the time.
Yeah.
While the sensors may be gone, the EMH was still integrated and part of the system, would have seen and ideally spoken to, the people who were there at some point. If the EMH has anything to tell us that we missed out.
You could ask directly if you'd like. Unless they asked not to be taken with us.
No, they're for being taken with.
Okay. Then yeah, you could ask him directly.
One moment, and I'll set up a little, isolated virtual environment, because I'm not just about to stick a foreign EMH into our computer system.
Smart.
Apricity just gets possessed. Aha, suckers! I'm the doctor now.
They were already a doctor.
I'm double doctor now. But no, let's boot this thing up and see what it'll tell us.
Alright. As you activate the EMH, please state the name. Is this a conference room?
It is. Welcome to the conference. This is Captain Phillips. Commander Neshek?
Yes.
Hello there, Apricity.
Apricity's our CMO, sir. This is a...
I know, I was saying hi to Apricity first.
Oh.
Done? This is the emergency medical hologram that I decided shouldn't have been left on the derelict ship when we rescued those evacuees.
Well, you made a good call then, Apricity. No one should be left behind, hologram or otherwise.
We were hoping... I apologize. I know I did ask quite a few questions already while you were in a dire situation, but we were hoping that we might try and glean what insight we can on our vanishing ship.
And vanishing people.
And vanishing people on the ship.
No, we're revisiting conversations. Okay.
After that, and after you've been checked out, then... I don't know, Captain.
I mean, I'm currently off station right now. Heading towards, I think, your location at the moment.
You'd be.
We are all
we can-
back on the starbase.
Yeah, you're back on starbase.
There was a time skip.
Yeah, we
God
have to.
dang it. Alright,
You
well,
have
in
the
that
coordinates
case.
if you wanted to switch to the other place.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. I think I was going to. I don't know. We either head back to the starbase or go look for or follow the coordinates.
Apricity would be able to update you as to what they saw at the last known location when they were there, which was the derelict ship, which we rescued several patients and this emergency medical hologram from. A missing ship of ours, the one with Aleska, Corporal West, and the new kids. That has just seemingly vanished into thin air, so to speak. And there's a retreating warp signature that I was able to narrow down to 2 ship types, but nothing more than that. Aside from that, the location looks like dead ends. Unfortunately. You could do a more thorough check, but I feel like that would be, needle in a haystack situation in space,
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm just going to have our new ship just head back. Oh, yeah. We have a new ship now.
Yeah, I'll be sure to check it out later.
Well, we should be on. We're heading back to the station now, so we should be there momentarily.
We had the time skip where you're already at the ship. So has Apricity and Captain Phillips both returned.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I did that.
We're in a conference room right now.
Well, there's no point in using the ship for basically a NATO and a haystack kind of search. I mean, they probably got improved sensors and everything. I haven't just really go over the ship because we had to come back. So, yeah, I have no idea. It probably could
Which
be a
is why
NATO
we're
and a
about
haystack.
to ask the medical hologram if it can potentially remember anything. I know the sensors were damaged, and I was more hoping that there would sort of be something in the lead up that could at least give us a clue as to what happened to your ship.
Well, one, supply station, not a ship, but
Supply station, my apologies.
not a ship, but well, you are a doctor, and well, I know there was a conflict. The singular turret that's used as an asteroid gun was fired a few times. There was a conflict, and then there was a larger hit from presumably a much larger ship.
So you were... Yeah, you did say that it looked like it was phaser scorches.
Yeah.
But the other ship... Was the other ship engaged with the ship that fired on you? The ship that we're looking for? Basically, were all three of them tangled, or was it just between you and the ship that...
I think it was just between us and the ship. I don't know.
Let's focus less on the ship and more about the people. You had several injured with you. They weren't any of our cadets, were they?
No.
I presume these were the staff of your station. Did they happen to mention, was anything communicated to you prior to their critical condition? Instructions overheard? Have you overheard any orders given or conclusions reached?
No.
Was this simply because you don't have the data available, or because you are... Basically, are you unable to tell me because you don't have it? Or are you unable to tell me because that doesn't exist? They just didn't say anything and just dropped dead, basically.
I do not have the relevant or pertinent information to answer adequately, as I am an emergency medical hologram. I am utilized when the chief medical staff is unable to perform their duties.
May I ask then when you came online? That would at least tell us when the chief medical staff became unable to perform their duties.
About 15 days ago.
And at such a point, the crew was already in this state?
I'm not gonna lie, this is a different experience for me, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, do you have the same number of patients now that you did when you were first turned online?
Yes.
I really want to do something unethical, but I won't. After you came online, prior to Apricity and their squadron did you happen to see or communicate with anyone else?
With the cadet, one of your supposed missing cadets. And
Okay.
I think the deep green color is Starfleet Marine Corps, and Command Red? I'm not entirely sure.
Understood. What was the content, or at least the general idea behind these conversations?
Figuring out what happened. Really, it feels like I'm learning what the concept of deja vu is.
When did you last see the individuals in Command Red and Marine Green?
Oh, within maybe 2 days before your doctor arrived.
And what was the situation then?
Honestly, things hadn't changed that much aside from the supply station being split in half due to what I presume to be phaser fire.
So the Star Station split in half after our people arrived. That was not part of the initial attack.
Correct.
And you have no relevant information as to how this might have occurred?
Best guess? Using all my medical vocabulary available to me, I assume it was a big-ass fucking phaser.
I'm not inquiring as to a medical diagnosis. I'm asking to your actual observations of the situation. What did you see?
I'm confined to the medbay. I can only see so much. I used scans to determine.
Okay, that's actually an important observation that Wes just pointed out. I didn't know this, but apparently they had noticed to come out of the nebula a day or two after the incident if there was no contact, which would have been before Apricity arrived.
You are correct, so at least that cadet is there. However, Nebula, Runabout, not good blend. They're fine, just...
Irradiated.
Yeah, kind of.
Would I have been able to get them stable enough on the return trip that they could have at least sat in this meeting and given their point of view on things? So we at least have a first-person perspective?
Yeah, if that being the case, yes, there was, they had dropped out of warp via runabout, they had boarded station, this cadet had stayed behind to act as a pilot and also just to have a quick getaway if it were to happen. A vessel decloaked, fired, nearly destroyed the runabout, but only hit in the cell before they went into the nebula. And that's about where that ends.
And I guess so, more to the actual point of what I'm trying to get to the EMH, it did not see what happened to West and Aleska.
No.
Okay.
And neither did the cadet?
No,
It was after they...
No.
Yeah. I was wondering if they were, like, not in the nebula yet.
So our last point, our last visual and confirmed location of Corporal West and Commander Aleska is exiting the med bay. Immediately prior to attack by an unknown vessel of significant power.
Yep.
Well, rip. Nah, I'm just kidding.
About where Apricity's at right now.
Captain, with your permission, I would like to take the relevant steps to list Corporal and Commander as missing in action.
Yeah, until we can find them. Yeah, list was missing in action.
Understood, Captain. And I'll begin. I'll list them as missing in action, which does mean revoking you a bunch of access to the ship because we don't know where you are, and basically sending up an alert that if, your credit card gets used, I know about it.
Yeah, do it. It's like the only way we can find them.
Are we done here?
Oh yeah, you gotta get back to the hospital now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
With your permission, Captain?
Of course.
I'll take the cadet to the hospital.
Alright.
I'll leave the
You
We'll
want to
deal
take
with
the
the
EMH?
EMH. We'll deal with.
you?
I don't want to take the EMH with me because we still need to vet it, but we'll deal with the EMH later.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay,
Plus, I think I already have an EMH, and they might get jealous.
Yeah, we want to have an AMH fight.
Okay, the cadet just left. Can I not be here now?
I mean,
Boop.
I don't think anybody else got any other questions. I think you can go for now.
Perfect. Computer, deactivate EMH and just gone.
I've already hurried off after the cadet.
Rude much? Eesh. I thought the Voyager's doctor had terrible bedside manner.
Man, you should see what the Pathfinder class Voyager has been dealing with.
I'd rather not.
For you, Captain Phillips and Neshek, after a little bit, as you're kind of going through the relevant work to do such in the office, there is a flash, sitting directly across from you, Captain. Someone who wasn't there before, and though they are not described as one with as much notoriety, you definitely know the telltale signs of someone from the Continuum, just because it is required in briefing, because it's been in irritation enough to where it's had to be known. Missing in action. That's not good.
Hi, Q. What can I do for you?
Oh, you know what? Starting out with what can I do for you is a great way to build rapport, and truly, in an attempt to get an advantage over the other Continuum, things may have gotten a little far out of my league.
What did you do?
Well, I was giving you an edge on the inheritor problem, but apparently we have someone watching through the lens of time and is making things truly difficult for me.
Alright. You need it fixed, right?
Ideally, that's how we would resolve the situation, yes?
Alright, so you got any ideas?
I do, in fact. Someone with that ability has to have technology that's well beyond your current capabilities in this century, and far beyond it, actually.
I don't think I could think of is the temporal ops, maybe? You know, the only ones I could think of that could probably do something like this.
Oh, no. We're gonna do something a little bit more special, as through the lens of time, I was able to at least locate where they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, when and where are they?
Well, you're not gonna like it.
I really don't like it. I don't know how it can get any worse.
Ooh. Captain. That's not a good way to voice things. Alright, well then. We'll make things easier. How much worse could it get? We'll fingers are snapped, and Neshek and Captain Phillips, as well as the
Oh wait, I'm involved in this too? Shit.
Yeah, I still my motion now. I bad. Sorry,
the
Neshek.
small like holographic like computer core that you had set up for the the MH3
Okay,
has
never
just
mind, this
been
is fine.
dragged along too. For you're in it's a pretty luxurious type of starship, you think? But there's several several consoles and areas that look much more advanced than anything you could even comprehend. Well then, welcome aboard, and hopefully you can find a problem maker.
Neshek will just keeping at their eyes on the consoles just to examine them. Will just immediately point at whoever, Q Junior or Q whoever's speaking. Found them.
All right, Neshek.
No, this is serious. I'm quite literally trying to repair a potential reality fracture.
Lovely. That's just lovely.
No, I'd say it's well, use the observatory. They snap their fingers, and the populace of the ship vanishes, leaving the two of you left alone in the ship.
Oh, that's just great. Leave us alone, why don't you?
Well, Captain, if you would like to familiarize yourself with this vessel. I believe I shall try to find a user manual. So.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. We don't have much of a choice. Queues are all the way back.
Alternatively, I'm just going to pretend that I'm 13 again and just start smashing all the keys.
Please don't do that.
Don't, please.
Please don't do that, because this ship is to serve a very important purpose in its timeline, the next 2 weeks.
Oh, good. It's a rental.
Familiarize yourself, and hopefully you can use the observatory to locate where in time this reality fracture is occurring, and we can ascertain how to stop it.
Alright, well, let's get cracking then.
Yeah,
Are we in the observatory, or are we in the bridge of this?
You're in the bridge.
Strange. Okay. Then I presume our first order of business is to find the observatory, unless our local semi-omnipotent alien doesn't want to warp us there.
As much as I would like to do that... Oh... Well, that's tragic. I'm going to have to disappear for a little bit. It seems our friend playing hide-and-seek is attempting to move the rest of your crew to a not-so-great 21st century in its later years.
Oh, no. That's lovely.
I mean, my understanding is the 21st century was fine on Vulcan.
Vulcan, maybe. Earth, not so much.
So much happened there. And I believe... Oh, would you look at that? Yeah, right in the middle of the eugenics wars. I'm gonna go fix that.
Please.
They're gone.
God damn it. Let's see if we can back them up and find them.
Alright, understood, Captain. And yeah, I'm gonna look to see if I can find a fire evacuation plan. I feel like that's the fastest way to find a map of the ship.
There's not that, but there is one effectively for... Well, self-destruct.
Look, Captain, I found a button.
Don't push the button. You don't know what it does.
Alright, but let's see if we can't at least get to this observatory.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the
And
ship
just
isn't, like, super, super massive, so it doesn't take you a horrible amount of time to find.
And just to confirm, it's literally just us two, as far as we can tell.
Yes, you and a computer box.
Alright. In this observatory, do we recognize any of this scientific equipment? Is it meant to observe stars, planets, weirder
what it is doing
phenomena?
is it is currently observing what looks like a planet, and it's almost arcing, kind of like how it shows like the phases of the moon, almost something like that, like a 3D holographic render, but around it'll say like 2072 or something like that, and the next one will say like 2153, and then one will say like 2733 or something like that. Just different points in time, and going up to each of them, you can kind of access unique events that are happening there. And more specifically, it accesses anachronisms.
Interesting. My initial assumption, Captain, was that this was some type of environmental research vessel, but now I'm beginning to think this is more of a physics research endeavor. So it's looking at these anachronisms. Are we currently in orbit around a planet?
No. Kind of just looked like you're floating.
Like we
in
just kind of
space.
walked up to someone's screen when they got vanished. Okay. How like if I were to like go up a directory, how many anachronisms do they have cataloged? If I can get a reasonable estimate.
Like past or present, like resolved.
Just total. Just
Total?
how many anachronisms total do they have in this catalog?
In this particular catalog for this particular ship.
I want to get a sense for how long they've been doing this and how frequently these anachronisms are occurring.
Roughly 22,000.
Oof. Any way to determine how frequently? Like, is it 22,000 over, 100 years, or 22,000 over the course of a week?
It varies, but some of them are quite literally like small anachronisms that got fixed really quickly. Like, for example, like someone of an important historical figure stepped out into traffic or something like that by accident or was pushed, and they just simply went back, had a conversation with the individual for like 30 seconds. So that individual, from their perspective, was just a conversation, will have no special meaning to them. But whatever anachronism happened in history has been rectified. So some of them are really short, and some of them are like full-on stakeouts. They take weeks.
Captain, if I'm interpreting these reports correctly, I believe this vessel is operated by, if you will forgive my informal expression, the Time Police.
Just like I said. So we on a police ship.
Can't believe it.
We're hijacking a police ship. Ain't nobody gonna believe this one.
The oh my god. Yeah, the ship's computer announces that it has detected a third life form, actually.
That's not fucking good.
Before forcibly activating the EMH. Please state the... Okay, someone needs to
EMH
tell me.
doesn't count as a form, does it?
Apparently it counts as a life form.
According to the ship, yeah.
So I look to the hologram and I say, we're on a Federation police ship.
Police ship.
For time.
So a time ship.
Yep.
Well, I don't believe the ship moves through time. It is just operated by people who study disruptions in time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, are we sure that an EMH counts? Neshek does not trust like this.
Apparently.
Right here.
We know. Well, it's up to us three to commandeer this ship so we can get the rest of the senior staff back and go home.
I feel like the word commandeer seems in poor taste.
Well, borrow.
Is it commandeering, Captain, if we are kidnapped onto a ship that we are taking over?
Can we say just borrow then? I don't know. Well, anyway, we're on a time ship. Use the time ship to find the rest of the crew. Get them on the ship somehow and then leave.
We can find at least one member of the crew, assuming that Dr. Apricity is not with us and they have not been taken elsewhere.
Yeah,
we can reasonably assume that they are back in
our time and back on the station. Which is a better option for them right now, to be honest. Because I don't know how them
Captain,
connecting.
At the very least, at the very least, we have a fixed point that we can try to steer the ship back to. We don't know where Aleska and West are, especially if they are scattered through time as well as space.
This is true.
Has no one considered the possibility of just checking medical records?
Centuries-old medical records we can attempt.
Why not?
I mean, there's a good point.
Check medical records and then check historical records of those medical records and any kinship that is related.
Well, it's a start.
I know.
Thank you for the idea.
So we just have to go through the computer and figure out the...
I mean, we're right here by all these computers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going through the records, you're able to pull up some interesting bits of history.
I will say Neshek is... I know we're not looking for Neshek. Neshek will 100% actively avoid looking at her own record.
Okay.
Yeah, don't look at mine either.
No, I'm totally looking at the captain's.
Hey! I mean, we can look at Apricity's if you want to do all that now.
Does Apricity have medical records?
Yeah, but I'm also like... Wait, how long ago was this?
Well, given where this ship is at, it would technically be about 390 years ago.
Yeah, buddy, I'm like...
Not even...
20. My record's like 2 years old.
Not even it's barely there.
Nope, it does exist. Because
but there's barely anything on it.
No, there's a lot on it. 390 years. You were 390 years ahead of the present time.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, I got it backwards.
Yeah.
That's a lot worse. Mm-hmm. Don't look at my records.
That's why I'm like trying to figure out how looking at the medical record, like if we can't look at the medical records if we were in the past because they haven't had me yet. But now it's like we're just gonna find out where they died, basically. Which I guess we could show up and say bye.
Wow, okay. Yeah, each of your senior staff has a long record.
Yikes. This is lovely.
Well, let's start with Aleska and West.
I mean, those are the two that are missing, so let's start there.
Alright, looking through, it's not that difficult to find Aleska's history, at least. It keeps on going backwards. Like, because the ship is so far ahead, it can look back quite far. There's service aboard a Ross-class vessel very late into the 24th century. There's service in 23rd, 22nd, and it just keeps going backwards. And also continues on forwards.
Captain...
Mm-hmm.
Aleska is not a trill, is she?
Why do you ask?
I do believe that this record indicates she's living far beyond the normal human lifespan, unless I have been grossly misinformed.
Out of character, is Aleska true?
No.
As far as I know, she shouldn't be.
I don't suppose it conveniently states in the record.
I mean, could you, I don't know, check date of birth maybe? Something? If we start there, maybe we can find an answer to that question, and which will lead us to our missing crew.
So, date of birth, you actually don't get anything super helpful or concrete for that. The earliest, recorded record of Aleska being in existence is, like, the later portion of the 17th century.
Captain...
yes?
The first record I have of Commander Aleska is in the Earth year 1669.
Wait, what?
You did not just... Oh my god.
To be fair, I do know her exact birth date, but that can be revealed later.
Oh my god, you just freaking memed me.
I think we just got memed.
But, odd as that is, I'm not necessarily aware this will help us. This is raising more questions than answers, I believe. But I believe we can reasonably show up to any time period between now and the 17th century and expect to find Commander Aleska. Or something like her.
Or their ancestor.
So let's try taking a look at West's.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, looking for West proves to be a little bit more difficult, given that they kind of make that their goal in some aspects. However, you are able to find records of a Lance Corporal West who supposedly met a fairly undesirable fate in 2167.
Is that what year are we in?
You would be in the year right now. You would be in.
No. If he died in 2167, aren't we in like 24 something?
2409.
Like our present day back
Your
on
present day
not
is,
Andromeda.
yeah,
Horizon.
your present day is 2409.
So
Captain,
if
we have
Mike
another
had,
one.
yeah, if my corrections are correct, he might have died like 4 years ago. He's out of character. Like 4 centuries
No.
ago, maybe. Then this,
Well,
I was asking. I was
we're in the
asking.
27. We're in the 2700s right now. We came from the 2400s. This thing he died in the 2100s.
7 centuries ago, he died. Unless he's hiding something. I don't know.
Well, Captain, I believe if these time shenanigans are part of some greater game, I believe actually Corporal West was, for lack of a better term, assassinated by sending him into the past. Because if I check Corporal West's birth date, would his birth date still be, closer to the 2400s? 2399 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
it's normal. It's what you expect it to be.
I suggest, Captain, that one, we figure out how to get this ship moving through time. Two, stop at Horizon Station and grab Apricity, if this is going to be a medical emergency that we're going to be dropping into. And then three, head to 2167 and try to prevent Corporal West from meeting a terrible, terrible fate.
Yeah. It's the only plan we got. So I guess we'll get to work then.
Okay.
Understood. Back to the bridge then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose on the bridge there's a convenient dial that I can just turn and it shows me what year it is.
Funny you should say that. There actually
Is this
is
going to be like
something
Futurama?
It's not a dial so much as it is like a slider screen.
Huh. Well, I think the intuitive user experience designers of the future, and I will attempt to find the year 2409 and calibrate it more or less the day we got, the day we think it is when it got zapped over. So from Apricity's perspective, we're going to come back and it's going to be we're from the future, and you're going to be it's the same day.
Okay. I get what you mean.
And then we're going to try to go to the Corporal West's death date.
Alright. The Yeah, you get a communication Apricity after you've dealt with the glow stick of the cadet. From a ship that seems to have all your like code of access for communication, but it has like Neshek and Captain Phillips like serial numbers and such. But they were just in the conference room like 30 minutes ago.
Captain, I don't suppose we located a name for this ship anywhere? I would like to hail the station properly. It is my prerogative.
The ship is called the Relativity.
USS Relativity to Horizon.
So I want Horizon Station's perspective to be understood. This ship didn't warp out of anywhere. It straight up like lightning blasted into existence.
I should have come back like the day before we left, so that way I'd have to answer my own hail.
Oh, that was so messed up but funny.
That's
You should have been actually a whole can of worms.
That's a time paradox though.
I know.
But it was
I don't want
funny.
to do it.
Neshek want to have a conversation with herself.
It's the ultimate communication officer dream.
I mean, the ultimate captain's dream, have a conversation with himself.
I mean, Janeway did it.
Oh yeah.
But I imagine they eventually get transferred over to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for their perspective, just relatively just can hear them like clearing their throat from a possible like, what the fuck was that? Horizon will transfer you right over.
Alright.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, Pristio could have called it's like, get in looser, we're going shopping.
Just saw you 15 minutes ago. I don't know how you already got. Sure, I'll meet you in the loading bay.
Yeah.
This thing's got
I
some
can try to just
stupid
teleport you, yeah.
transporters. It does not care about Horizon's protective measures. It'll just circumnavigate those.
Yep. So we'll just grab you.
Oh. But
Yay, we're kidnapping our doctor.
Oh, great.
It's okay, I have Wi-Fi to the station.
Yeah.
Has no idea.
Oh, not for much longer. Once you find out where we're at.
Prissity, I will state that if you at all feel functionally impaired, I will, in my capacity as computer and communications officer, try to help you to the best of my ability. However, we are about to head 300 years into the past, so I cannot guarantee your connection to Horizon.
Ah, lovely.
To be fair, it's not our fault.
Why are we going 300 years into the past?
He asked Corporal West from getting killed.
Captain West.
Congratulations
on the promotion.
Yeah, I did change my statement. I said that's Corporal West.
Do we know how Lance Corporal West died?
Assassination.
At what age?
A very young age.
-1 years, Doctor.
So we don't know how old he actually was.
he wasn't even born yet, and they wanted to kill him.
Well,
Whoever
it would say in the
is.
medical record a cause of death, right?
Yeah.
What's the cause of death?
Heart
USS
attack,
Columbia exploded, had a nacelle that exploded, and its trajectory crash landed on a more aptly submerged in an O-class planet and was left there with supposedly all hands lost.
And are we able to determine how old he was supposed to be when he died? Like, I don't want to. I'm trying to. Like, Apricity is trying to determine if this is their West or if this is some, 60-year-old West that's, like, about to retire in 2 days.
This would be the West that you are familiar with.
Okay. How the fuck did you get. Okay.
Huh.
Because, yeah,
Do
the thing.
Do you really want to know?
I mean, out of character, I know what's been going on this session.
Yeah, no, I was talking about in character. So, Prissy, do you really want to know how we got here?
Yes, please.
You kidnapped us. I say us as in me, Neshek, and the EMH.
Yeah, totally displeased to be here.
I'm going to ignore that for a minute. And told us that he needs our help to fix the mess that he created, which may or may not be his fault.
I thought Q was an academy myth.
Oh no! Q is real. He's probably the reason why our senior staff and the cadets are missing. Trust me, it took all ounce of willpower not to pull Benjamin Sisko and punch him in the face.
I will state, to give all credit, I do not believe that the problem is Q's fault.
That's why I said may or may not be his fault.
However, I do agree that his solutions could be more graceful.
Yeah. Yeah, much more graceful than what he just did.
Well then, shall we
dog
go
pile on
save
through
Alon,
and make fun of me.
Corporal? Oh.
Relentlessly, sir.
Oh, let's just grab Apricity and get to work.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay then.
We already grabbed Apricity.
Yeah, I already got kidnapped.
Well, let's just say it's not our fault we kidnapped you. It's more of a rescue mission.
It's kind of our fault. It's kind of our fault we kidnapped Apricity. We actively made the decision to come back and kidnap them.
Yeah, it was also Q's fault for kidnapping us, so I guess we just passed the buck forward.
you just had to pay it forward.
Yeah. So, alright, let's go.
This is the worst drive-through charity ever.
Well, let's just go get our people and go home.
Okay.
Very well, Captain.
Hmm?
I shall set us on for Corporal West's death day.
Okay.
And Neshek is...
Why don't we do 2 days before or something? We're kind of cutting it close for no arbitrary...
dramatic Apricity.
Understood, continue.
We may have a ship that is capable of moving through time, but we have to be dramatic. We're still
Okay,
starting.
yeah, understand.
Fair enough. We'll just make it 2 days before his death day.
No. I'm on board now. Let's go the day of.
No, we're
Okay.
doing the day of.
Ah, the 2 days sounded a whole lot better. It gave us 2 days to plan.
Oh well. Okay. The relativity does something a little different. Rather than like thundershock into place, it will in fact mimic going to warp, and it will automatically chart a course to the 3 like trinary stars, and it goes from warp 1, warp 2, warp 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then it gets all the way up until about what would approximately be about warp 16 or 17.
My
Or
question
you
still remains.
slingshot through the trinary stars, and the inertial dampeners and everything. Really, you are making a huge jump. Before dropping out of this massive warp slingshot. And actually, there is an NX class vessel that you just narrowly miss. Like there is a proximity alert that happens. For Lance Corporal West in Aleska, as you get to the bridge, there is a large vessel about 5 times the size of this ship that just shoots past. A make that is unrecognizable to either of you, actually, and slows and kind of turns and becomes parallel with Columbia. Captain Hernandez immediately hails the relativity. Hail them right now. I want to know what the hell that was.
USS Relativity, US Columbia.
Who the hell are you?
Ah, Neshek. Good to see you, finally.
They're not the only one you see.
It's true.
Captain Hernandez, may I introduce... Captain Hernandez, may I introduce my captain, Captain Phillips.
Captain Hernandez.
Is this the Starfleet of the future?
The far future.
Mm-hmm.
What went wrong?
Hey!
Hey!
No, I get it.
I feel...
Wes will speak up at that point. Just say, "Funny, Captain."
And your lieutenant is not what he appears to be, Captain. He's one of my people.
And at that point, I paged the 2 or 3 cadets.
3.
Yep. And asked them to report to the bridge.
Okay, they all show up. Captain Hernandez is really starting to suffer through an existential crisis right about now.
Is Captain Hernandez the only person on the Columbia not from a different time period?
Well, there's a
Probably
lot
what
of
they're
crew
thinking now.
members. There's 72 other crew members, but like,
He's the one in charge.
That'd be so funny
yeah,
though.
she's the one in charge. So like,
She's about to have a panic attack.
no, but
Close enough.
definitely is having a hard time processing what's happening.
Yes, so Alaska, we
Yes,
heard what
sir.
we heard what happened.
Ah, I see Q came clean to you, Captain.
He also kidnapped me and Neshek.
That seems to be a characteristic of his.
Oh, and the supply station EMH is here too,
Hello?
and is very displeased.
Oh wow, you're really lowballing the descriptions.
No, is what you said. You said you was displeased.
But it is convenient that your ship is here, Captain.
Oh,
That
Apricity's Apricity's here too. We kind of kidnapped. We kind of kidnapped them too.
I think we may have found our problem. Do you remember the Prometheus ship Beowulf?
You would
Yeah.
remember it.
Yeah.
There is an AI program on board Columbia called Beowulf.
Oh no.
And someone from the future was trying to alter that program.
In which would have resulted in the Columbia being destroyed and all hands lost, which would mean
Sorry, what?
yeah.
According to our records, Captain, the Columbia was lost with all hands not too long from now.
Which would include you two, Aleska and Corporal West.
I am immediately making scans in the area.
Please do, because we got to bring all y'all back and bring you two and the cadets back in one piece. I mean, we can beam Neshek over if you need help. You need extra hand.
I
And
would
it would-
prefer you didn't.
Unfortunately, Captain, if we leave you in this time period, that will create a temporal paradox as well.
Lovely.
What are you proposing?
First, we need to find out exactly how Lance Corporal West dies.
Wait,
I
what?
assume, Captain, that the ship's computer doesn't tell us that?
I looked to Neshek to see if they picked up anything in the observation room before we left.
I'm weirded out that Aleska already knows Corporal West is gonna fucking die.
Oh,
We didn't-
sorry.
We didn't say that yet.
I just did. I said it. I said both of them
Oh,
were
yeah,
going
you
to
did
die.
say all hands. Yeah, that's true.
I said all hands, and I added Aleska and West.
It was weird that the only thing that was weird about it was the fact that Alaska singled out West instead of including herself.
Yeah, so
I mean, I just assumed that was. Aleska seems very confident.
I wasn't there for the medical revelation, and I'm very salty about it as the doctor because this seems like something a doctor should probably know about they're one of their patients. But
well,
you know,
we do have
we'll
an
leave that
observation room. We can just show you what we pulled up. And
I mean, I have no reason to have asked about it. So
Yeah.
like, I wasn't even aware that you brought up
Alright.
you brought up people's medical files from the future.
Okay, as much as this conference call or whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
creating some sort of temporal scarring or whatever you called it, what is your
Yeah.
proposal for that? Aleska?
We bring. Well, that is my current name, but I propose we use. I assume the relativity has tractor beams. That we bring you and your ship to our time, Captain.
To be fair, Aleska, we kind of commandeered the relativity. Q kind of set the crew somewhere. Yeah, so We'll see if we can find the tractor beams. If we can use the tractor beams, we can slingshot you guys back.
Unless, Aleska, you wouldn't happen to be familiar with a ship like the Relativity, would you?
Can I make a kind of... I don't know.
No,
Unless I was given access to the Voyager crew logs.
you would not have been. That's a pretty under wraps thing.
Yeah, not even Voyager had that in their files that I know of.
And to be fair, I think that the episode with Relativity, Captain Janeway would have heavily classified that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, one person probably would access it. That was probably me.
No,
Maybe
you would not be able to access it. You would have to have...
admiral status.
You'd have to be a vice admiral or higher to access it.
Yeah, so Vice Admiral Dax would have been the one who had access, and I don't think they exist yet. Well, we'll try to see if we can find the tractor beam and then just tractor beam you guys back to our time, where it's a lot safer to fix this mess and then send you guys back.
I don't think we can send them back, Captain.
Oh,
Because of history's recordings.
right. So I guess we're taking you guys with us. Take you guys back home with us. This should be fun.
Well,
Except Lance Corporal West, Lance Corporal West and Aleska, according to what you said, would also have died today as per historical records. That doesn't necessarily mean anything in this situation.
Nope.
So why do we have to take the captain with us?
No, we was taking the whole ship, not just the captain. The whole ship was coming with us. We were going to tractor the ship back to our time and fix the there. Wow, I think my Discord fucked me. Because how they got...
No, it came across.
Okay, come on. Okay, because mine just restarted first. My voice restarted.
I'm sorry, I've missed several key statements here tonight. I'm sorry, I missed the ship part. I thought we were specifically talking about the captain and in the loop, which I wasn't.
No. According to Star Trek lore, the Columbia just completely vanished.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? We could be the ones who basically created Starfleet history and had the Columbia just vanish.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that feels great. Yeah, my crew will take that real well.
You want to be vanished or dead?
Captain.
No, I'm being dead serious. Do you want to be vanished and still be alive? You just be dead and all your family's just mourn. But right now, we are your best option. Your only option to make sure that you and your crew are still alive. I know it sounds like I'm being mean, but from one captain to another, I'm just looking out for the welfare of you and your crew. And your ship. It's a mighty fine ship, though. Don't get me wrong.
I have 72 crew members that I have to keep under wraps. They have families. Now, as death might be terrible, if that is the case and that is the fate, and we will do our damnedest to fight it, but at the very least, disappearing without a trace doesn't give them any form of closure.
Well, Captain Hernandez, what do you suggest?
I don't know. I really don't, because this is not an easy decision.
A Kobayashi Maru, one might say.
I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Oh, yeah. It is an unwearable situation. Lovely.
But at least by bringing you and your crew to our time, they will be alive.
Pretty much.
Alone and away from family. Is that really living?
And how often were you away from families during the Romulan War, Captain? At least in our time, there is a federation that you will be proud to serve.
Well, given everything so far, I'm not that particularly impressed. But, yeah, if one of you does want to roll to fully, like, at least put forth the argument,
Before that roll,
yes.
West will speak up. Captain Phillips, if that is indeed a time ship, it would make sense that it would have information as to what's supposed to happen as opposed to what has actually happened. Perhaps before we bring people on the timeline, we should check and make sure that we're not going to deviate a course that's supposed to happen, and therefore damage the timeline further. Sir.
This is true. I'll let the Neshek. Neshek, is there any way for us to check the timeline?
It's
The
super easy.
old-fashioned way, Captain. You just have to read.
Smart Alec. It's not what I meant.
There is a number of differences, but a lot of them do come out to be the same towards the end. One, the Columbia does disappear. In a certain portion of the timeline, it is found during the late period, like the later periods of the 2380s in the Gamma Quadrant. However, looking at records, there's nothing to suggest that that would alter the timeline too terribly. That's a small deviation, but not necessarily a damning one. The disappearance of the crew as its entirety is a thing.
So we have multiple options, which branch off and then converge to where the Columbia is lost, disappears regardless. Huh.
Sounds like multiple options of one.
Yep.
So what would be the role to convince her to come to our time?
This is definitely a presence command role.
Okay, I think I'll roll that one.
I do have a 10 and a 4.
I have a 9 and a 5.
10, 4, 9, 5. Okay, well, then it's effectively the same. You could probably use that as an assist then, if you want. Because
That's a single die?
Yeah. This is going to be a difficulty 4.
Fuck. Do we have any momentum or no?
Nope.
I don't think we have.
Fuck.
And what's my target number? Same as my 14?
Yes.
Alright.
So who's rolling first, me or Aleska?
I did, and I rolled a 5. So that's a success on my end.
Alright. So my presence in command. Boy. Hmm. And 4. So, it's got a 13. Which is not bad.
Okay.
So,
That should be 3, right? Okay. Alright, let me double check something really quick. Yeah. Alright,
would any of my focuses count here? I'm probably thinking not.
I'll just list them off.
Composure, hand phases, infiltration, espionage, athletics, and improvisation.
Because I'm about to ask if one of mine apply too. Yeesh. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, what about you, Kevin Phillips? What,
Investigation, quadrant policy, Starfleet history, hand phases, diplomacy, led by example.
Diplomacy is probably where that's at, so that'll add something.
Yeah.
Alright, then that'll probably, given everything, composure would work for the other one, so it'll probably just give you a flat, even, success total. To say she is a little, disheartened that there is no real good alternative, because realistically, I think Lance Corporal West might have the greatest perspective from this, is they're a little bitter about that this is the way that history has to play out. Even though it's multiple methods to get to the same result, but they're a little bitter about it because from their perspective, their world state is going to change exponentially, drastically, and quite unfairly. And for all of you, nothing is going to change. It will not affect you.
I put a hand on Captain Hernandez's shoulder. Don't worry, Captain. I can help you and your crew adjust.
I think I'll do that on my own.
Aleska just nods and gets ready to be beamed aboard to the Relativity.
Take the Columbia to wherever it is you're from. I'll tell them when we're on the other side, lest we risk any form of mutiny or complication there.
Understood, Captain.
Relativity seems to be a relatively intelligent ship. It seems to have identified its problem and has, with a little bit of piloting, because this thing honestly pilots in such a simplistic fashion, runabouts are more complex.
That's why I asked, can we keep it?
No.
Oh! You know how much fun we want to have with that?
Too much fun, Captain.
That's the point!
Alright, the relativity brings everything into focus, jumping to warp tractor beamed and everything, and you're back at Horizon, having dropped out of warp, and everything feels a little strange, perspective-wise. The cadets are back and everything. Q kind of arrives at the end of that journey. Well, seems like you fixed part of the mistake.
Yeah. Now, how do we fix the other part of the mistake?
Well, now it's just locating a rogue continuum entity.
And I'm sure that you probably have a way for us to do that.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. Is there anything we can do to help? Or was you doing this on your own?
I will come back with information if I can figure out where they are. And there's a snap as you and you are back on Horizon Station within the Alpha Ops, and the entirety of the crew of Columbia is getting a bit of shell shock right now.
Captain Hernandez, welcome to the year 2409. And welcome to my station. What a day. I need a drink.
Captain Hernandez doesn't say anything, and she doesn't really know where she's going, but she just leaves the Alpha Ops area with a lot on her mind to process, but I think that is where we will end this episode.